Hello everyone, I'm Ben Coleman, your anchor host here for the Florida Aviation Network, coming to you live and in the clear from the Sun and Fun campus at Sun and Fun number 52. And this is red, white, and blue 52, big 250th anniversary of our nation. We are here in the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, and it's always an enlightening experience to be here walking around on the campus and seeing all the folks that have had such a major role in aviation and aerospace. We've got to remember, it's not just about airplanes. So we had Kermit Weeks on here earlier in the week, and at Kermit, it's not about the airplanes, it's about the energy, the emotional experience, the transition through the air and the flight, the beauty. It's all about that. And I've noticed, I've been looking around, and there's been a lot of gray hair and no hair in the industry, and I also am encouraged because I see a lot of baby strollers, and I see a bunch of young folks walking around. Unfortunately, they've got the phone like this, but that's okay. That's all information. We have a gentleman with us here today that has quite a colored past, but the funny thing is he's not done yet, and I want to find out what is coming up. Mr. John Goglia. John.
Ben,
well,
thank you for having me here.
It's good to have you here, and I mean that sincerely. We go back many years, John. I can't play to the camera and play too dumb. Of course, it's easy for me to play dumb, isn't it?
It's very easy, actually.
Okay. But John Goglia, and let me just give you a segue. You were the first recognized mechanic to be on the NTSB 5-member presidential electee board, the NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board. But before that, John, you were busy in aviation, and now you're busier after leaving the NTSB. Aviation Hall of Fame, the first mechanic, not the only, but the first, because there's going to be more if he has anything to do with it. And other attributes that you've brought to the table. We're going to talk about aviation aerospace maintenance technician competition, and this is something that John's passionate about. I'm going to let John talk for a little bit, but I could talk about you all day.
Right. So I don't want to go all the way back. When I left the NTSB with all those accolades and a very thick Rolodex, I decided I'm going to move the ball for A&P mechanics. I'm going to, why was I recognized? I know an awful lot of people that also should be recognized. So I'm trying to set the stage, if you will. So the first stage I set was the competition, where we bring in, this year, we have 90 teams. That's the physical limit that we can do at this venue here at the Convention Center.
And this is going to be in Orlando this year.
In Orlando this year and next year. 95-person teams are going to compete for over $150,000 worth of Snap-on tools. And I focus with the students, the up-and-comers. And I'm proud to say I helped 1,000 of them show what they're worth and get jobs in the industry, including over 150 women in that. This year we expect to have in attendance something north of 900 mechanics in the facility, because I mentioned there's only 5 people on a team, but they all bring extras, 2, 3, some of them bring a whole extra team. And so I welcome that because everybody gets involved. It's a great venue. But it's just a stepping stone. I'm also the president of PAMA, and starting in the very near future, PAMA is going to have a very active YouTube and podcast presence. I've lined up a number of people with knowledge to talk about segments in the industry. Aviation maintenance has more than one face. We have, in the airline business, you have line maintenance, you have heavy checks, you have overhaul, you have all the back shops. Well, it's similar in general aviation, maybe not as well delineated, but when you bring an airplane in for 100 hours, they're looking at everything from the spinner in the front end to the light bulb in the back. So, those are skills that we've honed over the years and years, and we don't take proper credit for them. We actually take very little credit for what we bring to the table. And I'm going to move that ball. We were successful earlier this year to get the National Aeronautics Association, a Washington, D.C. association that holds some pretty prestigious trophies, including the Goglia Cup. They are going to add one, and they said probably the last one they ever add to their collection, and it's going to be for an A&P mechanic. And we have to fund it. We're about at the halfway point. It's going. In fact, next week we're going, for the first time, I'm going to get to see the cup, the trophy, that's going to be in our name. It's being designed and built by mechanics.
John,
I get excited.
we get emotional.
Yep.
We get emotional, and
That's a big deal. This
is.
moves the ball for us, all right? For collectively, all of us working in aviation, this moves the ball. Right? So I can't wait to get that done so I can move on to the next thing. I'm going to break those ceilings, and stealing a term from the feminist movement, the glass ceiling. Well, we have the ceiling of recognition. I've taken a goal to break that for us. I want people to look up to us. You know, we talk to pilots all the time. Pilots are out there, but pilots don't go flying until the mechanic signs the logbook, right? And people seem to forget that.
yeah, they don't go till we say they go.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So,
And, John, do you have anybody helping you in this spirit and this adventure of moving forward?
I have a few people, and unfortunately, they're all gray hairs as well, although they're younger than I am, so they still have some time left. But I'm looking to get some younger people involved. So I've got a couple of prospects coming up, but it's, you know, I was going to say surprising, but it's really not surprising. You know, I've got a number of people from the American that come to the competition regularly, and they're ready to pick up with anything. We've got FedEx that stepped up to the table, people that are retiring from FedEx. One of them is going to retire early. They've come in. So we got people that are in their late 50s and the early 60s that are coming in. But I think it's time we start cultivating a little bit younger age.
And John, I'm in the field quite a bit, and I keep my eyes open for the bright stars, the ones that are out there making a difference, and they get involved. They've got the right personality. And T. Black and I were talking earlier about the personality. Mechanics are a true professional mechanic. They don't do this to pound themselves on the chest or for get their picture in the paper. They do it because they love using their hands and fixing things. Story Musgrave, have you met Story?
I have met.
You know, he's a classic. I mean, he likes to do things with his hands. He's very tactile, and he likes to fix stuff. And John, I know you like to fix stuff, and we've got something that's broken right now. Is we need some more youth getting involved with physically working on stuff, aircraft, mechanics. Lawnmowers, I don't get tractors, whatever you want to work on.
Used to be, we could do that stuff. Yeah. I started working on cars. Now you can't get near a car. You can't, the test equipment you needed to determine what's wrong with a car today costs you a fortune.
You got to have a computer dongle to plug in.
Right. But we're going to get there. That's part of the reason why I have so many students. There's about 300 students actually participating in this. And you know, we started a competition at Verticon this past year. Mm-hmm. And the team that won blew everybody away. We had Army there, I had professional people there. A high school team from Dayton, Ohio beat everybody. And I left with my mouth open on that one.
And the competition, John, and it's about standards. It's about following instructions, directions, technical guidance.
Safety procedures. You get gigged. You know, most of the tasks are relatively easy, right? But we have a manual for all the tasks that you have to do. You have to follow the manual. If it takes safety glasses for the work, you better have them on, right? So you're gigged for everything along the way. And the competition and some of these finalists, the final scores, are separated by very little time. And I know time is not the thing that you should be using measurement, but we have no other choice. given the venue and what we have to get done in such a limited amount of physical time for the competition. So we recognize that, and we talk about that so that everybody that's there understand this isn't a race. This is for quality. So even though we're measuring you for time, we're also looking at the quality of the work that you do. And to that end, I can tell you that I have stood as close as we're standing with vice presidents of maintenance organizations as we look at some of the young talent that's coming up. And I'd like to tell the story that I said to one of them, I walked over to one of them and I said, hey, take a look at this woman over here that's in front of you. And he looked at it for a minute. Next thing I know, his hand goes up, and they're there with human resources people. And he called one of his people over, pointed out this woman and said to her, go hire her. And that was like 5 years ago, and she still works today for the airline, and they actually love her. All right, so it's because she's very focused and knowledgeable. So we have to get the word out to the general public what we bring to the table. The pilots know what we bring to the table, but they don't share the limelight. Right? So we're gonna put our own spotlight out there, and I'm gonna do it come hell or high water.
Well, and John, you mentioned you can join PAMA. You don't have to be a mechanic to join PAMA. So a professional aerospace, actually it's aviation, but it's kind of going to morph into aerospace maintenance association, mechanics association. There's been a lot of talk and turmoil about mechanic or technician. Some folks, some countries prefer engineer or technician. Okay, we're mechanics. Okay, you can call yourself what you want, but we're going to call it the Aerospace Mechanics Association and stand behind it.
When people ask me what I did, I tell them I'm a mechanic. I'm a mechanic at heart, and I will die being a mechanic. So.
And there's going to be a lot of folks that when that day eventually comes, and we're all going to check out at some point, but to get where do you want to go with this, John? What do you want to leave here as a legacy when you're gone?
I want to leave us recognized by the general public of bringing skills, knowledge, skills, and integrity to the table. All right, so that's what an A&P certificate represents: knowledge, skills, and integrity. Because we're not going to sign off something we shouldn't. So those are the basic core values that I want everybody to know comes with that certificate. So how am I going to accomplish the goals down? You know, it looks like I've accomplished the trophy. Clearly the competition is expanding now, and we're probably going out of the country next year. Right, so that has grown exponentially. That gets us a lot of recognition around the world. That's one road. The competition is one road. PAMA is another road. The trophy is another road. Wherever I can push us forward in that endeavor to be as recognized as the guy with the silk staff, then that's the road I'm going to push on.
But John, I don't know if you've heard this before. It's that grease-stained man with the rag in his hand.
Yeah, well,
it's a wrench in his hand.
What was the guy on the TV show with the wrench, the rag all the time, and they portrayed him as not so intelligent?
Oh, on the wings, Lowell.
Boy, did that boil my blood. That boiled my blood big time.
Yeah, that's very, very incorrect, inappropriate. But anyway, we can turn that around.
Well, we have somewhat, but not enough. And I'm just going to continue to push it. I mean, I'm going to use every venue. First mechanic with the Hall of Fame. I meant to bring it here today. It's sitting in the hotel room, but a nice, ribbon with a nice medallion on it.
Well,
I was going to wear it here for this show because that's pride. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's for all of us.
It's the industry.
It's for all of us A&P mechanics all around the country and the world. That's what I got awards, all kinds of awards. I've been recognized for all kinds of things. That's yesterday. Yeah. I want to get recognized for being one of 150,000 maintenance people who keep airplanes flying, have the knowledge, skills, and ability to make sure that airplane's going to fly without crashing. And I'm just tunnel vision on all that.
Well, and you're focused. You're probably one of the most focused individuals I've ever met. and that's why I'm so proud to be associated with you. But John, I'm going to backstep just for a little bit. And where did you grow up? Was it Alabama or Arkansas?
Yeah. I grew up in Boston, and if you can't tell the way I talk, we talk a little funny up there. But I want to remind all of you that the boat landed where I live first, so I'm doing it right, and the rest of you have an accent.
Oh, that's true.
So, and I want to reiterate, please, if you're a mechanic, join PAMA. All right, if you have information you want to share, get a hold of us. You join us, and you're going to get all kinds of email messages. I just picked up a young lady assistant that's going to help move the ball for all of PAMA. So we're coming. We're going to drive change. You know, I'm working on the instructions for continued airworthiness with the FAA, and I've rocked that boat considerably because of what the manufacturers do and give us the junk that they give us and called instructions.
Tell us how you feel, John.
Well,
that's one thing. Let me say this about John Goglia. If you ever wonder what's on John's mind and you ask him a serious question, he's not going to give you any fluff. He's going to go right for the meat.
I'm a mechanic. All right? I see problem, fix problem, next problem. And I said that from the podium at the National Hall of Fame. Right? That's a mechanic. That's what we want to do. And we don't want the recognition, and that's the part that has held us back for so long. And we're going to change that.
Well, we're in the midst of changing. You're doing it as we speak, because all these televised videos, it's on our channel. And we want to, even if you want to be a mechanic, you don't have to be a mechanic to join PAMA. You want to be a mechanic. How do you learn? Resources. There's so much resourcing on the PAMA website. And if nothing else, this man's...
And the competition.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the things that really, really got to me, early on in the competition, we were building up the student population, and we had mechanics from Alaska American all working. And one day, on the day one actually of the competition, later in the day, I climbed. We have a company that sells ladders and work stands was right across the aisle from us. So I climbed up on one, so I'm doing the bird's eye view, and I'm looking over in the corner where the bleachers are, and there's a couple of old gray hairs from Alaska Airlines, and they're sitting there with the students from South Seattle Community College. I'll never forget this, and they're coaching them on how to go to one of the tests that they have to go to. And then that was when I first noticed it. Then I started looking for it, and it was all over the place.
That's great.
I mean, so it was, I mean, it really was heartwarming to see that.
And John, the FAA has been trying with their AMT awards program, and mechanics, they have to go through a certain amount of training, and they get an award for it. We recognize with different levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, diamond. But watching this program, the FAA has agreed to provide award credit. So there will be a code at either into this presentation or somewhere in the archives. But and they're going to give you like 24 hours to get that in for your credit for watching this segment with this gentleman here that has been so profound in the industry, and that's why we're proud to have you here.
Well, I'm proud to be here to help spread the word. So if you're in the Orlando area or far enough to drive, come up to the convention center Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and watch this competition. It's unlike anything you have ever seen before. And please, if you're a mechanic, want to be a mechanic, a student especially, join PAMA, because we're gonna start with a bunch of information, rolling it out to help people build a career out of it. You know, and I'm talking at schools all the time. Sometimes I wish I could have a clone so I could double the effort. But I
don't know if we can handle 2 John Golias, John.
No, just one for. I mean, I talk everywhere, so I promote us wherever I can.
And John, if you haven't noticed, it's the passion. You're such a passionate guy, but you're also, if somebody wants to draw back a nub, they go to John with something stupid. And John's going to tell him, that's kind of stupid. You should do it this way. I mean, but you got to call an ace an ace, a nut a nut, and we appreciate that.
Well, most mechanics, that's exactly what they do.
Sure.
All right, so there's No wasted language.
John, we're gonna wind it up, but this is just this presentation. But we're not winding up the efforts. We're just getting the efforts wound up. And I want to thank you so much for your time here today. And,
Thank you for having me.
We're going to get you and Gina out there and see some of these beautiful machines and have some fun, because we're at Sun and Fun.
Right. Well, I spent all day here yesterday, and it was lovely.
It's great. It is to see baby carriages walk around.
Yes.
Oh. All right, guys, we're going to end this segment, and we'll see you at the next interview. But go on the website, PAMA, be a mechanic.